So I'm starting this series of videos to explain Illumin Holdings' investment thesis. Illumin is a microcap stock that I think is pretty cheap and that I just started buying. I bought my first shares last week at a price of $1.13, so around here, and my plan is to keep increasing my position over time. Now, I will divide my studies into at least two parts, two videos. Today we will talk about the company, and especially about its product, its platform, Illumin, and in the next video we will talk about why this stock is cheap, about its financials. But I will already give you a hint on why I'm saying this stock is cheap. This is a 75 million Canadian dollar company that is already generating cash flows with zero debt and with around $50 million in cash on their balance sheet. So think about it, and I will repeat it. The whole company is being priced at $75 million, while on their balance sheet they have $50 million. This means that more than 65% of this company's entire market cap is in cash. Besides, 75 minus 50 is equal to 25. So what I ask myself is this product, this platform, only worth $25 million? Is this company only worth that? A company that has more than $100 million in revenue annually and that is already generating cash? Well, I will leave this for each one of you to respond. Anyway, today let's focus on what this company does and on which problems its platform solves. Now, when I was starting to study Illumin, I had some difficulties understanding what their platform offers, especially since I'm not from the advertising area. So I watched some videos and decided to edit them and compile the most important parts in order to tell you a more concise story about what they do and how their platform works. And I have to say, I watched a lot of videos over and over again. So if you like this kind of content and enjoy in-depth stock analysis, don't forget to leave your like, and I also invite you to subscribe. Your support helps me a lot to continue making these studies and videos. Now, before we jump to the subject, just to remind you, this is not investment advice. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing with my own money. Illumin Holdings was founded in 2009 under the name Acuity Ads, which was later changed to Illumin after their new product, about which we will talk soon. And as I've said, they operate in the advertising industry. You see, marketing is becoming more and more essential for companies these days. That's why companies spend millions of dollars on it. The problem is that in a world full of distractions, it's really tough to grab someone's focus. That's why it's so important to make the most of every second of attention your audience gives you. And that's exactly what Illumin is all about, reaching your clients with efficiency. That's crucial because if you approach your potential customers at the wrong time or in the wrong way, you could mess everything up and end up wasting money. As Tal Hayek, one of Illumin's founders, and who, by the way, owns around 6% of the company, explains,
"In my personal experience, which I'm sure you can relate to, there have been many times that I saw a 15-second commercial ad that I really liked, I really interacted with. And I thought I should check that brand out. And then I saw that same ad again, and then again and again and again. And after seeing the exact same ad for 17 times, I want nothing to do with that brand anymore."
So it's crucial to understand where your customer is on his journey so you can communicate effectively.
If you already engage your consumer, you need to tell them the next reason why, the next reason to go along the consumer journey.
And with Illumin, you can do exactly that. You can understand where each client is on his personal journey and adapt the message. And as far as I've understood, no other platform can do that. And by the way, if you know another product that can do what Illumin does, please share it with us in the comments below. Now let me play you a video clip in which Siraj Barwani, the Chief Strategy Officer, talks a little about consumer journey, which I think it's interesting for us who want to better understand this company to hear.
Big ticket items where somebody would commit $50,000 to $70,000 in online education, they have to think about that. It isn't a decision they can make on first impression. It's going to take a few months even, if not years, to really make a commitment, because it's not just about money. It's about whether you will have the time, will you have the energy, the motivation to continue and get your degree done and so forth. The retail, automotive, these are all considerations that actually take time. And therefore, if you're going to connect with the consumer, they are on a journey of their own, trying to figure out how these things fit into their lives. And so brands have to really try hard to break into that routine and figure out how they can become part of that process through which people go through to decide whether this is something that's the right thing for them. Now you can see how critical this has become, and yet all the intelligence associated with having the knowledge and the understanding of where the consumer is in their thought process, most marketers simply do not have that intelligence. How do you get close to your consumer? When you first connect with them, how can you guide them through this process?
So that's what Illumin is all about, efficiently reaching the consumer with a message that makes sense for the stage of the journey he's on. And it's interesting to know how Illumin's idea was born.
4 years ago, I wanted to run an investor relations campaign. Simply put, I wanted to reach investors, wanted to educate them about the Acuity story, and bring them along a consumer journey for conversion. Brought my team together and asked for something very specific. I said, I would like to send out banner number 57 7 times. And then video number 35 3 times. And then an audio ad. But if somebody clicks on it, I wanted to send them to a completely different area of the journey. And the response was, well, our system is not capable of doing that, which I was well aware of. But I told them there's many systems, many platforms out there. Go and find one that can do it. So after doing research, they came back to me and said, there's no systems out there that can do this. And this is where we decided to build it.
And I've researched a little about Illumin, the platform, and it seems to be a pretty good product. For example, here on this website, they have 66 reviews with an average rating of 4.3, which is quite good. And people are actually talking about it in a very positive way. For example, here, incredible experience using Illumin, good tech with unique features and bright future. I can segment and use audiences for more complex strategies. Anyway, I will leave this link down in the description in case you want to look at this with more attention. Okay, but how does this platform work? That's what we are going to address now. First, let me show you their commercial, and I've edited it to make it more concise.
This is your advertising plan in action. A black box that knows everything, but doesn't show you anything. For years, media plans have been put in a black box that you didn't have access to. Until now. Now, Illumin has reinvented advertising technology. Now you can see everything. The Illumin Journey Canvas lets you plan, buy, and see results on a single platform in real time. Drag and drop your creative to plan the consumer journey on any digital channel and activate it. Track the consumer journey, target the right message at the right time, and get a better return on your advertising spend. Illuminate the consumer journey with unparalleled insights, all the way to conversion. Illumin is advertising automation like you've never seen before. Goodbye, black box. Hello, everything.
Okay, so this is a short overview of Illumin, but it will get much clearer than this. We will get into many more details. But this is a crucial part. Track the consumer journey, target the right message at the right time, and get a better return on your advertising spend. And here's another video clip that kind of has the same message, but with some additional details.
You can specify every aspect of your consumer's journey, including how many times you want the consumer to see the creative, and in what sequence, just like you were telling a story. You can guide the consumer based on the action that they take at every step of the way. Once you have built your journey, you simply hit publish and your campaign is live. The algorithm is working in the background to illuminate the most efficient path to conversion. You can see this through unparalleled insights that you cannot get anywhere else. Insights like an audience engagement map that shows you in real time how consumers are moving through the journey so you can make informative decisions. Insight like a conversion propensity report, which shows you how the AI scores the audiences in order to deliver a superior return on investment.
Okay, so I think you have already understood what's Illumin's proposal. So now let's finally see someone using this platform. And these video clips will be considerably longer, but they are very important for us to get a good understanding of this company.
take our audience into the platform and walk them through exactly how do you set this up as a journey framework so you can maximally extract the information and the intelligence, as we refer to make some really solid decisions.
So what you're looking at is Illumin, and this is our journey canvas. This is what really separates this platform from other solutions in the space, is this idea of a whiteboard. The whiteboard that lives in your conference room is basically replicated here. So the idea is to use the same screen that you use to plan and activate the media to actually understand how consumers move through a connected journey.
Now I will play you a part in which they are discussing how they used Illumin to brand Ford's F-150 Raptor, which is a car model, and then they will give us other examples. This will be a longer video part, but it's worth it.
This is a Ford truck, which is one of the most popular brand that sells amazing number of these vehicles in any given year in North America, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And they've spent millions of dollars to try to figure out who is their ideal target, right? And so this machine allows them to then take back control in a nuanced way of how they communicate across the entire funnel. You could help F-150 figure out, what does it truly cost to drive an NFL fan from unaware of a need to potentially building out a model on the site versus a DIY target versus a power sports target versus a contractor target, right? So we can now start to understand, what does it cost holistically to drive an action in the programmatic landscape. So let's take a look at another type of advertiser. So this is a mattress advertiser in the bedding space, Purple. And what we're looking at here is a full funnel journey, right? You took all this time to build these high value audiences. Now let's control communication and figure out what's working with each audience, right? So in awareness, they're actually testing 10 views in 3 days versus 5 views in 3 days, right? And obviously there's a different media cost associated with serving 10 views than 5, but because the journey is actually connected, I can actually determine if a user got 10 views versus receiving 5, how does that impact their likelihood to buy a mattress downstream? How does it impact their average order value? How does it impact their likelihood to buy a companion product with the mattress? So another thing I want to show you, Suraj, is what we can actually test is a user that goes through an entirely connected journey, all the way from awareness to engagement to conversion. How does that impact their likelihood to convert? Because obviously it costs way more to pull someone through an entire marketing funnel than to just drop them into a remarketing pool.
Yeah,
so
I think that makes total sense because, you know, there's only so much budget to go around, right?
And what this machine allows you to do, it enables you customization. So you could actually let the machine place users in the most appropriate stage of the journey based on the decision science that we have that anchors our platform, or you could have dynamic control of where users start every journey. So that's something that is definitely very powerful, and a lot of brands are trying to figure out is, what is the value of taking someone through a connected journey?
I think that makes sense, actually, Max. The other thing that would be very important for our audience is to know that it is not necessarily important for everybody to go through this entire journey, so to speak.
Absolutely. Yeah. So Suraj, I'll use you as an example as a consumer. Let's say all I know about you is you just moved. So you're more likely than the average US consumer to buy a mattress. Well, maybe we would drop you an awareness and you would get these 10 views, right? But if we can figure out that you've been flirting with other players in the bedding space, maybe we abandon awareness, right? And we drop you right in on engagement to try to get you fast-tracked on a journey that you've already started as a consumer. Maybe you've been tweeting about a competitor. Well, we could drop you almost directly into a remarketing campaign or a conversion campaign and completely bypass awareness and engagement. So what we're talking about big picture is valuing a user, matching them to a path, and then dynamically entering them into the funnel at the most appropriate stage to fast-track users who we don't need to waste awareness dollars on, and to get better at nurturing users who we still need to build brand equity with. Let me show you something else. Let me show you why we call the platform Illumin. And what you're looking at here is, we talked a lot in the beginning about being able to control visualize and understand performance through a singular screen of understanding. So we can actually see where the users are in real time across the journey. So we can see that for this particular brand, we've got 1.5 million users receiving one of these 6 detox changing lives ads right now. 165,000 are meeting this 2-view condition and transitioning through. So I can see where users are across the entire journey, which is very powerful through a singular interface. But when we talk about outcomes, this is why we called the platform Illumin, because it's designed to illuminate the most appropriate communication path. So let's say as a brand, I want to know which path had the lowest media cost for me, the most efficient path across these various pathways, right? All I would need to do, I can start from anywhere on the canvas. And what this shows me is this path was the most efficient path across the journey.
This is just so easy. It's incredible, because I've seen trying to do this thing elsewhere before, and it could take some serious processing of a lot of different data across many different line item executions to stitch it all together, which could take me a week or more to come to this realization, what you just did with a single click of a button.
Yeah, it could take a lot of machines and a lot of manpower to try to figure this out, right?
So these are some examples of how this platform Illumin can be used. And I pretty much like what I see here. I've done a bit of digital marketing before, and I can recognize this platform is quite valuable. And I also imagine that companies would find this product quite interesting too. I mean, marketing is so important, and companies spend so much money, millions and millions of dollars on advertising. So imagine if you could be more precise, more efficient, and end up saving.
Talk about efficiency. When we look at the way that we lay out the journeys and the amount of impressions that we can save, we can see that it's a minimum saving of about 20% of wasted impression. So it also saves the advertiser money, but it also, as a second thing, it also allows you not to annoy your consumers with repeating over and over and over the same messages.
A minimum saving of 20% of wasted impressions. So, do you think this has value? If you were advertising something, would you like to save at least 20% of impressions? I certainly would. And in the end, this translates to saving money. Now, to close this video, let me play you these last video parts that are some parts that I found interesting and important for us to better understand Illumin and its importance.
We'll start with somebody that's actually selling online, e-commerce client, everything is able to be tracked. They're a leader in that bed in the box space, right? And so they sell those, they have additional products, sheets, pillows, tertiary goods. So what they really wanted to know, and their objective was, we can spend additional budget in upper and mid funnel, but what does that do for us, right? Like, we need to sell products at the end of the day. We need to be profitable, and there's a lot of extra cost by running that full funnel. So what does that all mean? How do we know what's working? Does an upper funnel, an awareness or an engagement touch point generate any additional benefit? So obviously one portion of our test is going to be creating that fully connected journey, taking someone through some video creatives or display creatives that build awareness, creating different decision trees on how do we get them to engage, or how do we educate them that they're not just bed in the box, right? They have pillows, they have sheets, they have extra goods that can be purchased, and build that greater engagement and that greater awareness before they finally go through and buy a product. So on the next slide here, we're looking at that just more traditional setup. It might not look like what everyone's used to, but it's just that conversion only, optimizing towards a return on ad spend. And so we can create that baseline of something they're used to running and they think is the most profitable for them, versus, again, that fully connected journey and what those differences might be. So what we do with all of this, and we'll have an example as well, and Max took us through, is start to look at some of the Pathlight reports that we reviewed and be able to start to measure, where did people go through that funnel, right? If we had that fully connected journey, did they get creative A versus creative B? And what was that path through the funnel? And by doing that tracking and seeing who actually made it to the end of the funnel, we can see how much were they spending, what products were they buying, and then comparing that to our secondary test, just that tactical conversion only, we're able actually to see what was that difference and measure it. And so in this case, that ended up actually netting out to a 20% higher average order value, which is massive for them. It can actually prove there is something to that awareness and that engagement, that extra media we're spending, it's getting us buying more products. People are buying a pillow that they didn't know this client sold, or a set of sheets. So they're spending more now because of all that additional messaging.
What you're saying is that this client is questioning, should I be spending more money upper funnel in awareness, and how should I justify investment in awareness dollars? The first thing you've been able to establish is that the order value goes up.
Now that we know it's going to generate more profitability or more spend with them, they're selling products, and now they can add additional products into that. Now what, right? What do we do with that? Because it's not just a single test that ends and you don't run and test anything in the future. So we always want to create this cycle of reinformation on our campaigns. So for these guys, you already hit the nail on the head. Well, what is that new balance, right? Between prospecting or building out acquisition, remarketing, branding, all these different elements where a lot of people say, you know what, we're really revenue driven right now. We only want to be doing our remarketing campaigns and getting the most profitability. Well, that might not be true, right? So now we can reset that balance and actually justify and prove out why upper funnel spending maybe doesn't need to grow, but it's definitely important. And with that, we can also start to see, yes, those consumers went through that life cycle. And at every point in that journey, there was different frequency that we needed to reach those users. It's certain cadence we needed to communicate to them. So rather than thinking of, well, what's my frequency I should be using on remarketing? What's the frequency I should be doing to get video views? You now have a better understanding of how long does it truly take a user to buy a product.
Frankly, it has been almost 7 decades or 8 decades, that marketers have always been asking the question, well, what's the balance between reach and frequency? If I have 100 impressions to invest in, should 20 be on reach and awareness and 80 be on remessaging, or should it be 50-50, or should it be other way?
And the beauty of everything with this tech is it's not always the same. Some users need 3 and some need 100. So if we can save a few touch points on one user that doesn't need it, we can invest that in somebody that does. So it doesn't have to be an all or nothing situation where this is the only option and this is the way everything needs to be run.
So that's it for today. Again, just reminding you, this is not investment advice, okay? Today we've understood what Illumin does, how their platform works, and how they can add value to others. And in the next video, we will talk about their financials, valuation, etc. Okay, so see you next time. Bye-bye.